iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office, it's open, my friends. All right, let's take a look at the Monday night game, and dare I say, Green Bay looked pretty darn good. Aaron Rodgers, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26 yards rushing. Green Bay was just in control of this game. For me, I know it was close at halftime, but it never felt that close to me. It felt like Green Bay was in control, and Philadelphia was always playing catch-up. James Starks, look, a lot of people were tweeting, do you like Starks? Do you like Starks? No, I just don't. There's never a situation where I'm going to like James Starks. Okay, 17 carries, 41 yards, 5 receptions, 27 yards. So, I guess in a PPR it didn't suck. But really, it was 68 yards. It became an 11.8, but it's really not a very good player. Just not a very good player. The guy I missed on here was Davante Adams. And here's the reason why I missed Davante Adams. Because it's very hard to know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Jared Cook had 105 yards receiving last week, and he had 7 yesterday. 1 catch for 7. I kid you not, I'm in a league. I need 2.1 points from Jared Cook. I get 1.7. Are you kidding me? Seriously. Ty Montgomery's an afterthought. So Adams, Nelson, and Cobb. Do you know who's going to score? Because if you do, you should be a fantasy expert, because I can't tell you who's going to score on a given week. I assume it's Jordy Nelson. I know he likes Randall Cobb. Adams has been pretty good, but this is tough. So I never feel confident in Davante Adams. I only want to play Adams in like a 14-team league. If I'm in a 10 or 12 team, I want a guy that I can trust more. I do. For Philadelphia, Carson Wentz, 254 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. He did run for a touchdown, had 43 yards. But can I just say that I want to see more Wendell Smallwood? I want to see more Wendell Smallwood. It's not enough. 9 carries, 37 yards. I want more. 1 catch, 10 yards. I want more. Do I need a carry by Kenyon Bonner? No. Do I need 3 carries by Darren Sproles, especially by the goal line? No. I need more Wendell Smallwood. Dorial Green-Beckham looked great on the first series, and then we didn't see him the rest of the game. 6 for 82, looked phenomenal. I really thought he looked good, but then he disappeared. Don't tell me the Packers started playing better on him, please. Jordan Matthews, though, did get injured. Let's watch that closely. 4 for 47. Zach Ertz, the Packers did a good job of taking him out. Only 3 for 36. Sproles, 5 for 48. So let's look for hidden treasure, because these next 2 days are critical. This is the last week in most leagues to pick up players on the waiver wire. So what you really need to do is get your team in place. Set your team. So, and there's not a lot out there. There really isn't a lot out there. So, I'll start here with the Giants and Cleveland. I don't really see anybody that was probably not on a team. Seth DeValve, really? Has it come to that? I don't think so. Can't ever tell you to start him in confidence. Jennings and Perkins are probably already on a team already. So I don't see, Dwayne Harris was an anomaly. I don't see anything going on there. Miami, Detroit. I'll tell you this, I'd be dropping Dwayne Washington if you haven't already. I'm done with this guy. Maybe Anquan Bolden if he's out there. I will give you a guy, how about Andre Roberts? I don't really like Andre Roberts, but if I own Tate, Bolden, or Jones, and somebody got injured, I think Andre Roberts obviously plays. Right? For Minnesota, Kyle Rudolph looked good this week. Adam Thielen looked good this week. But remember, there was no Stephon Diggs. He will be back. Not a good matchup against Dallas. Not a great matchup against Dallas. For Washington, I think Vernon Davis is a really good pickup. I don't know if Jordan Reed can play. I don't even know if Jordan Reed can hold a football or open a door for somebody. Seriously. But Deshaun Jackson, 4 for 118 and a touchdown. I know he's the Cowboy killer, maybe he's interesting in your league. Maybe somebody got rid of him. It's possible. It's possible that happened. Is Kirk Cousins going to go throw for another 449 yards and 3 touchdowns? No, but he's playing at a high level. And they're going to need this win. It's a big game against Arizona. For Dallas, if Alfred Morris is out there and you have Ezekiel Elliott, you got to get Alfred Morris. You got to cover yourself, right? This is a time that you have to cover yourself with your players. For Pittsburgh, Ladarius Green may still be out there in some leagues. He may still be floating around. If he is, 2 for 67. 2 for 67 means he had 1 for 35 and 1 for 32. That'll play. That'll work for you. That'll work. So I might be looking there if you need a tight end. For Indianapolis, I worry at this point. Frank Gore is still useful this week, but I do worry as the season moves forward what Frank Gore is going to do. Getting older, they don't really need him. It depends. It depends on how they stand for the playoffs. I think so long as they're competing, you'll see Frank Gore. I'm worried if they fall out that you'll start to see, Robert Turbin and Jordan Todman, blah, 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 Josh Ferguson, guys who suck. Where's Jack Doyle been? Dwayne Allen comes back. He's playing. Jack Doyle's been horrible. But would I cut Jack Doyle? Probably not, just in case Dwayne Allen gets injured again. I think a team where you can get a lot of value right now is Chicago. Marcus Wilson, 8 for 125 and a touchdown, had 11 targets. Bad drop in the end zone, but still a good day. Deontay Thompson, 5 for 44 and a touchdown, 9 targets. Bellamy, 4 for 41, 9 targets. Cameron Meredith had 9 targets. Now, I know they were playing from behind, but I'm just saying this team has guys that you might want to reach for. We're desperate right now. This is hidden money on a dance floor at a club late at 4 in the morning. What am I going to find? So I think Chicago is a place where we could look. Buffalo, I don't think is a place where we could look anymore. Sammy Watkins is back. And you know what? Even if Robert Woods comes back, and I do like Robert Woods and I respect the job that Robert Woods did, Sammy Watkins is the guy. Sammy Watkins is the guy. Let's not kid ourselves about that at all. Right? So I'm just saying, let's watch Sammy Watkins and let's be a little bit down on Robert Woods even if he comes back. For Jacksonville, first of all, Allen Hurns looked like he injured himself at the end of the game. Hamstring. So maybe we see Marquise Lee. Second, Ben Koyak, Neil Sterling. Those are the tight ends right now in Jacksonville. If you are desperate for a tight end, and man, you better be really desperate. You better be really desperate. I guess those are the names to look at here. Cincinnati, I think Rex Burkhead is a very interesting play if you need a running back. He had 5 carries for 29 yards, 2 receptions for 19 yards. Jeremy Hill is the only game in town, and Burkhead is a legitimate guy who can be there too. I don't like Rex Burkhead, but if I'm desperate in a league, at this point of the year, I like Rex Burkhead, especially in a 14-team league or in a deep league like the online championship or the main event. For Baltimore, I don't want anybody at this point. I don't want anybody from Baltimore at this point. I want to run. For Atlanta, how about Taylor Gabriel? He is in play for sure. He's like their Tyreek Hill. Taylor Gabriel is Tyreek Hill South. So 4 for 75. He had 1 carry. Gets reversed. He's a fast guy. Definitely a guy that I would have on my radar. I don't love him, but he's on my radar. Arizona, I don't want anybody on my radar right now whose name is not David Johnson or Larry Fitzgerald. If it's not one of those names, I'm not interested. Not interested at all. For the Rams, with Jared Goff there, I just don't see it. I don't like anything. If you're holding Benny Cunningham, I don't even know if he's the backup anymore. Maybe it's Malcolm Brown. I don't even know what to tell you. I can just tell you this team is a mess, and outside of Kenny Britt and Lance Kendricks and maybe Tavon, I just am not that interested. In New Orleans, though, Josh Hill is starting to step up. I know that we know Kobe Fleener, but I think that Josh Hill, 6 receptions on 6 targets, and he's a big target. We liked him last year, and he didn't do anything, but I think he's turning into a pretty interesting player. And moving forward, Drew Brees basically says who he wants on the field. Sean Payton, get Josh Hill out there is what he's been saying, and that's what's been happening. All right? I can't believe I picked up Colin Kaepernick in the league last week. I did. I'm playing him the rest of the way. This guy is great. I don't like him. I don't like his politics. I don't like politics. I don't think politics should be in football. But I can't deny that the guy's putting up fantasy points. I mean, he's not helping them win real life games, but hey, he's putting up fantasy points. And he plays Chicago this week. Hello, score. Carlos Hyde doing a good job. I mean, I think he's still interesting, but of course he's not out there. For Miami, maybe Kenny Stills. Maybe Deion Sims if you're desperate. Those are the guys I'm looking at there. It's really not a lot to choose from. San Diego and Houston. Man, how bad is this team on Houston? I don't know if I want anybody. But Jonathan Grimes is back. And I like Akeem Hunt more. But if Lamar Miller is injured, Jonathan Grimes will play. Bill O'Brien loves this kid, out of William & Mary, of course. But I think between Hunt and Grimes, they both share it in case Alfred Blue is not around. Maybe Fedorowicz. I mean, he should be on somebody's team already. Braxton Miller, I'm not interested in. For San Diego, Tyrell Williams, if he's out, Dontrell Inman steps up. That we know, right? Travis Benjamin will be better. This was a bad matchup for him, but I think he will improve moving forward. I do. I think he'll improve moving forward. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Russell Shepard is the number 2 receiver there. Adam Humphries is the slot guy. But this is a mess here. I mean, Peyton Barber got some play, but I think Jacquizz Rodgers is back anytime soon, so I wouldn't invest heavily there. Carolina and Oakland, if Ted Ginnan's out there in your league, you know I like him. This guy, 4 for 115 and a touchdown. Clive Walford starting to step up, 3 for 43. He's being used more by Derek Carr, so I like Clive Walford before the season started. I like him now. I still like Seth Roberts. If I had Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree, I'd get myself some Seth Roberts. If there's an injury, boom, you're in play. You are in play. Jalen Richard is the guy there. Washington is done. I mean, Richard is the obvious backup there. For the Jets in New England, Malcolm Mitchell, I've got to believe he's on a league or two waiver wire. I would pick him up for sure. Deion Lewis looked very good last week. I liked him. For the Jets, I mean, there's really nobody that I can endorse outside of Enunwa, Marshall, Powell, and Forte. It's just not very pretty. And finally, in Kansas City and Denver, Benny Fowler, I don't know, man. But if I had Benny Fowler, if I had Sanders or Thomas, I'd look at Benny Fowler. That's about it. Chris Conley's starting to do a little bit more than usual. Trevor Siemian has been good recently. He's been good. So that's another name I want you to look at. I guess Matt Barkley. I guess it. But he plays San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay, Washington. I mean, look, he could do something. In DFS, he's interesting, right? How about Adrian Peterson? Is he available in your league? If he is, somebody I'm interested in. How about Derrick Henry? We know Derrick Henry is ready to do more. Ready to do more. If DeMarco Murray gets hurt, this guy could win somebody a league, right? Somebody can win. Somebody can win a league with him. I told you Rex Burkhead. I mentioned that before. I'm just looking here at another list I have. Alex Collins. I mean, God forbid that Thomas Rawls gets hurt. But there's not a whole lot out there. Mike Gillislee is due back this week from injury. I mentioned Dontrell Inman. I mentioned Taylor Gabriel. I mentioned him. Dorial Green Beckham. I said that in the beginning of this podcast. He looked good. He's looked like a legitimate number 2 receiver. I like him. I do. Maybe Brashad Perriman. He had a very good touchdown catch there this week. I just don't like how the Ravens are playing. And then finally, a tight end. Vance McDonald's been very good. Cameron Brate, we enjoyed having him on our SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio interview the other day. That was enjoyable. I told you about Ladarius Green. Will Tye, maybe? Will Tye? And now let's talk about, look, defenses, kickers. Yes, it's that time of year. It's that time of year. Right? It's the time of year where Cairo Santos is meaningful. It's the time of year where the Washington Redskins are better than they should be. Right? I don't know. I don't love these guys. But right now what you got to do is go to the schedule. Right? So when you get to the schedule, you look there and you say, all right, Atlanta's got Kansas City, the Rams, San Francisco, and Carolina. The first thing I think about is I think about the quarterbacks. Well, Goff, could he make a mistake? Sure. Colin Kaepernick? Yes, but not many. Cam Newton, a few. So then I say, do I like Atlanta's defense moving forward? I'll do the same thing with a kicker. So Phil Dawson, do I like the matchup at Chicago? Yes. Do I like it against the Jets? Yes. Do I like it against Atlanta? No. Do I like it against the Rams? Yes. So if I need a backup kicker or backup defense, this is the thought process, right? I start thinking about who these guys have, who the teams are they're playing, can they help me? Now, the next question is, and we'll talk about this more, who do I drop? Who do I drop? Well, if you've got 7 receivers, maybe you drop the 7th guy. You don't need them all. You don't need them all. Not at this point. How many can you play? 5? Maybe you have a backup 6th? I don't know, but I think I don't need my 8th receiver. I'm telling you, in one of my leagues, I'm dropping Robert Woods. I know you're thinking I'm crazy, but I'm not. With Sammy Watkins' Roto back, I think Robert Woods does a lot less. If he does a lot less, I may need the kicker or defense more. Not that I don't like Robert Woods. He's okay, but how much am I going to use him with Sammy Watkins there and LaShawn McCoy there? Not much. So I may have more use to have a backup defense to play matchups over the next few weeks. So what we'll do tomorrow is we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how to get you through the last few weeks of the season, because this is a critical time right now. And we'll discuss the rules with the online championship and the main event, maybe some of the leagues that you're in, right? And then maybe some of the things that you could do to change the leagues that you're in to make them better. Okay? But right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. I want to encourage you to join scoutfantasy.com, enter the promo code ROTO. As you know to do, get yourself a big discount. I don't know if it's 3 months for one or 4 for one. I don't know. You drop my name, maybe Scott Atkins and the guys there will hook you up. I don't know. But it can't hurt. And then you'll be a member of the Scout Army. You'll get access to our Scout scores for NBA and for NFL. You'll get access to Cappy and Kick for NHL. How about my man Y2 Casey? Y2 Casey, great job with MMA. True story. I read Casey's article in the forums, right? I read it. I went on my phone. I clicked it. I read his article. I put a team in. I doubled my money. I had no idea who these guys were. None. 0. I read Casey's article. Boom. Thank you, Casey. That's how good we are at Scout Fantasy. And then you get the articles from people like Sean Childs and Adam Ronas, some guy named Dr. Roto, Mark Deming, and of course the premium forums where our people are, the members of the Scout Army, to help you win your leagues. So please check it out, scoutfantasy.com, promo code ROTO, R-O-T-O. All right, guys, we're back tomorrow. Be well and take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!